or really just to get back into using my imagination. I think that as adults, we just don't use our imaginations as much as we used to as children. When I was a kid, I used to get in trouble a lot in school, but that's because I had such a big imagination. I could make a game out of anything. So I remember I used to take like pens and turn them into rocket ships, and and just play like little games and stuff like that. And as adults, I mean, we don't do that. We're such visual people that if there's not a video or something right in front of us, we almost can't imagine. So I thought that writing a book would be good exercise for me.
There, you're listening to A Founder's Life, and I'm your host, Leo Gestetner. My guests and myself share our entrepreneurial journeys and our methods for a balanced life. I'm joined here today by Dametric Burnett. Thank you, Dametric, for joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Dimitrik, as Leo has said. I am the Chief Operating Officer for S&K Building Services, and yeah, that's me. Let's jump in.
I don't know. Well, and S&K is pretty fast growing within your space.
Yeah, about 7 years ago, we had one office, and today we have 17 offices, with our 16 offices rather, and with plans to continue expansion this year and for the foreseeable future, many years to come.
Excellent. How long have you been with the firm?
I joined it's a good question. I want to say 2021 is when I joined. So when I joined, I want to say it's been 3.5 years, and I want to say we had 9 offices, 10 offices at that time, somewhere in there.
Excellent. So over doubled since you've been there pretty much.
Yeah,
And
yeah, at least.
talk to us about a little bit about your journey on sort of what led you to where you are today on the business perspective.
Sure, yeah. So our company does primarily building services. We started off as just a pure window cleaning company, and then we've added a host of services to that. So if you ever see people hanging off the sides of buildings or dressed up as superheroes at children's hospitals and things like that, we're very fortunate that that happens to be what we do. And so about 15 years ago, when I joined the business, I started off as one of those guys. Actually, I was doing houses, doing residential, doing restaurants. We call it route. Just came in, didn't think you could make any money cleaning windows. I thought it was a joke when the guy that kind of hooked me into the whole thing said, hey, if you're looking for something to do, I was in my early 20s and kind of bouncing between different things in life, like people in their early 20s tend to do. And he just said, well, if you're looking for something to do, kind of to make ends meet while you figure out what you're doing with your life, you can come clean windows. And I thought it was a joke. I thought he was talking about Windex and a paper towel or something like that. Come to find out that it's a big industry. It's not something that many people think about, but it's an essential service for taking care of your business. And so I started off just you know entry level and learned the business. I didn't like the if it's 100 degrees out, you're cleaning windows. If it's 0 degrees out, you're cleaning windows. If it's raining, you're cleaning windows. And I'll never forget. We had this really big client that they came to me while we were outside cleaning their windows. They had we were just doing the ground floors at the time. We'd never done anything over about 25 feet in the air, and so this place was up over 100 feet. And they said, "Hey, we need somebody to clean those windows up there. Who do you know that can do it?" In my ignorance at the time, I said I could do it, and and so they took me up on it. I gave them a price. Didn't know anything about pricing that out. Got up to the top of the building, got some training on it, had a company come out and show me how to do it, and got over the side of the building. And as I was on the side of the building, I thought to myself, I said, it's clear you need to get out of this and find other people to do this part of the work for you. So I started honing my sales, learning the business, and I fell in love with the industry at that time because it was able to help people that came from the childhood that I came from, which probably isn't ideal, and help people to be able to buy houses, buy a car, provide for their family, have honest work, and make a comfortable living. And so I saw a real opportunity, and I just kept growing with the business. And I've been fortunate to see a lot of changes throughout the last 15 years and meet a lot of really good people. I've had a lot of mentors, and so I've been a part of growing companies from nothing, building companies that had something and making them bigger, like what we're doing here at S&K right now, and just been around for a while at this point, and it's been a good experience for me.
So I think that is the entrepreneurial dream in terms of, you've already made it up through the company to C-suite, and now really helping the business grow to the next stage. And talk to me about what family means to you.
Well, I just had my first child. Uh, he's 5 months old as of the 26th of March. Um, and so family's always meant a lot to me, to be honest with you. My mother, I was raised by a single mother. My brother and I, she had me when she had me when she was 16. And so I watched my mom kind of grow into adulthood. And unfortunately, I watched her struggle with her illness for a number of years and eventually pass away a couple of years ago. And that hurt a lot. But we were really close. I'm really close to my brother. I actually just have found out that I have a sister who's 19 years old on my father's side. So we've recently found each other and started chatting. So that's really exciting. But I'll tell you, having my son is really just kind of what has changed my life. It's only been 5 months, but he's given me a new purpose in life. Before, when we were starting these companies and building them and selling them, or going to these corporations and joining them to help to turn them into a more robust corporation, I guess. It was all about just making money. Just this is what we do. We're able to help people. We have a good why, but ultimately we got to make money. But now, having my son, there's so much more that goes into it. It's not just about making money. It's also about providing opportunities for him that I didn't have, such as spending time with his father and being able to be proud of what his father does for a living, and having those positive memories with his family, knowing that I'm going to come home to him every night. And for me, I get to walk in the house every night, and I can work 10, 12, 14-hour days, but I know why I'm doing it. So when I get home, I've got him sitting there, and he lights up when he sees me. People tell me we look like twins. I don't really see it, but I've never been good at that type of thing. So it's really, I mean, having little DJ has kind of been, it's been a real change in my life. I can't think of, parenthood is weird. When my friends who don't have kids yet, or like my brother, they ask me like what it feels like. And I say, it's a weird feeling because you can't imagine life without them, except I just had life without him 5 months ago. But I couldn't imagine a world where this kid didn't exist, right? It's almost like we've always been in each other's life, even though that's not really true, I guess, but that's what it feels like. So it's everything, man. I mean, without your family, then what is all this for? And so, at least for me anyway.
Okay, I completely get that. My kids are 19 and 22 now.
Wow. Yeah.
Little older than yours, so but I 100% get that. I
Well,
continue to be very, very close to my kids and
and I know
love the time
you
I
have
spend with
a
them.
son and a daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
So you
daughter's the
got it
older
right.
one, and my son's younger.
Yeah. You got it right the first time. My wife and I will try for a second one. Hopefully we have a girl and then we can be done, but we'll see.
You never know. I
You
was talking
never
to
know.
somebody the other day who has 5 kids because they just kept trying for their daughter.
I think after like three, you have to just say, you know what? I tried.
Very true. I'm not sure I'd want 5 kids, but, each to their own. I mean, I think,
No, yeah, no, as a growing up, I wish I had had five, six, seven siblings. I think that that's awesome. I don't know that I have the mental acuity or the maturity to be able to be there for that many people, but there are a lot of people that are capable of it, and I salute those people because that's fantastic. It must be amazing to walk home to walk in the house to a big family like that. That's pretty cool.
agreed. I think, it's everyone, whatever they have is right, whether it be 1 kid or 5 kids, or I would
Or no
say how
kids.
many
It's
kids
not for
Musk has
everybody.
got, but I think he's lost count. 12, 14 kids, whatever Musk has these days. Um,
He can afford it.
and very true. Yeah, so you can afford as many kids as he wants.
Yeah, right.
And each of them will still be the richest people in the world.
Yeah, he can
Um,
afford to have all of his kids, and then his kids can have an unlimited number of kids as well. It's
yeah,
it's fine. They're not worried about it.
very true. So, what do you like to do for health? What does health mean to you, whether that be mental health, physical health,
Yeah.
nutrition, fitness?
So, I again, early in my career, I was so focused on just growing in my career, that I didn't think much about things like that. And so it's really been kind of a new journey that I've been on within these last couple of years of making sure that, I take care of myself. Not just, you know, my body, but my diet. I've still got some pounds to lose, quite a few of them, but um, the big one really for me has been my mental health. That's a lesson that my wife taught me. We met 7 years ago, just about, and she is a mental health therapist. So she's really big on mental health. And so she's really kind of helped me over the years to just kind of understand that, hey, if you're not taking care of this thing up here, then you're really going to struggle. So developing balance, right? Taking care of your mind, taking care of your body. I mean, you can be the best businessman in the world, but if you don't have good habits behind that business acumen, you just won't last very long. You'll burn out. And so I think that that's really been the journey, or been the key to my journey these last few years is learning how to take care of my physical, emotional, mental health. And I've seen my career kind of ascend further. Um, and I think that's a big part of it, just taking care of myself, and thinking about those other aspects of life.
Very true. The other thing that a lot of people don't really talk about is sleep, which you may
Yeah.
not know a lot about now with a 5-month-old, but putting that aside, sleep is, it is vital. People who say, "Oh, I manage on 3 hours sleep a night." I I'm not
Uh,
convinced. I mean, maybe the odd person does, but it's just not healthy. The body needs time to recharge.
you can probably do it, but are you really functioning at your best, right? And fortunately, I have the most amazing wife in the world. She really makes sure that I get my sleep, and unfortunately, as bad as it may sound, she's really our kid sleeps through the night, but when he does get up, she usually pops out of bed so that I can get some rest most nights anyway. But um, you know, I can anybody get 8 hours of sleep anymore? I don't know if that's even a thing. But a solid 6 or 7, man, you gotta have it. You gotta have it.
Yeah, I mean, I 8 is a very rarity for me. Um, Sometimes I really don't get very much sleep, but for me, I can tell the difference. I'm an athlete, I'm a marathon runner and things. And if I've had less than 7 hours, I can notice the difference physically, and I also notice the difference mentally. If I've had more than 7 hours, I'm definitely performing better. Do I get more than 7 hours most nights? No. But I
Right.
am performing better if I've had 7 hours 15 than if I've had 6 hours 15.
Yeah,
And I
for me,
wear a ring to track it all.
oh yeah, see, now see, if I can get a solid six straight of real sleep, then I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. If I get 8, there's those random times where you get 8. I almost feel like I overslept and I'm tired the rest of the days. Like that solid 6, 7, if I'm sleeping in, if I don't have anything to do in the morning and I get that extra hour, So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up in the video game generation. I play video games. I don't have a lot of time for them these days with the career and the baby and the wife, but I like to play video games. I'm also a big reader. I like novels. I like to write. I like to hang out with my wife. My wife's my best friend, so we like to travel. So I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy. If I have any free time to myself, you're likely to see me kind of just sitting there reading a book um, or playing a video game. One of those two things.
You said you like to write. So you as in just write a journal, as in you're thinking about writing a book? What does writing mean to you?
Yeah, yeah, I probably should have said that because I knew you're going to touch on it. Yeah, I'm writing a book. I am. I'm writing a book. It's so I'm kind of a sci-fi novelist fan, and I don't watch a lot of TV anymore, and because there's nothing good on. I feel like all the good TV shows I've already watched. the world is crazy enough as it is, so I don't need to flip on the TV and see a whole lot of drama and violence and things like that. That's just the way the world is, so I don't need to be entertained by it. So I used to enjoy writing when I was a child. I used to write a lot of poetry, believe it or not. Probably sounds funny. Big football player Dametric is writing poetry, but I used to like to write poetry. I used to like to write short stories, and so I've been trying my hand at a novel. It'll probably never get published, but I thought it would be fun to at least take an attempt at it, um, and just create a world that a world that I view as being entertaining, or really just to get back into using my imagination. I think that as adults, we just don't use our imaginations as much as we used to as children. When I was a kid, I used to get in trouble a lot in school, but that's because I had such a big imagination that I could make a game out of anything. So I remember I used to take like pens and turn them into rocket ships, and and just play like little games and stuff like that. And as adults, I mean, we don't do that. We're such visual people that if there's not a video or something right in front of us, we almost can't imagine. And so I thought that writing a book would be good exercise for me. And it's actually proven to be like a stress reliever at times. Um, and I don't know whether the book's any good or not. My wife says it's pretty good so far. I've got a couple chapters written and she's read them and she thinks it's pretty good, but I don't know. Maybe she'd tell me if it was bad, but I doubt it. So,
Well, I enjoy sci-fi. I look forward to reading your book. I mean, these days with Amazon self-publishing and things like that, there's no downside. Why not? If it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't really cost you anything.
right. Right. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Maybe you will get a chance to read that book.
Perfect. You'll have to let me know. I seriously, I enjoy sci-fi, so I'm looking forward to giving it a read. And what has been a pivotal moment in your life, whether business or personal?
Um, Man, that's a good one. You know, I think that life has kind of hit me in stages, right? And so I was a pretty good athlete once upon a time, and I had an opportunity to play at a pretty high level. And growing up, I just had it in my head, like many kids do, that they were going to make money playing sports, right? And I had an opportunity to try my hand at making money playing sports, and it just wasn't doing the thing for me that I thought it was going to do. Traditional education wasn't really a thing that I could really, going through and sitting in a lecture hall and listening to a professor talk at me for hours on end. It just wasn't my thing, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. My son has the whole college fund set up, and I'll kick his butt if he tells me he's not going to go get an education. But it just wasn't my thing, and so I had to decide at that time, what are you going to do? Because you can't just lay around doing nothing, right? And so that was kind of a weird time in my life where here I am, changing everything that I thought was my life plan and trying to take an unconditional or an untraditional path, if that's the right word, towards great success, right? In the world of business, and really having to figure it out and learn some hard lessons the hard way, because I didn't have the formal education behind me. And so that kind of started, and it allowed me to become a flexible person who could pivot easily and learn new things and try new things and really develop kind of a fearless attitude uh, towards failure. It just, because I've had a lot of those in my life. Um, but, you know, truth be told, though, that even during that time, things did tend to kind of work out eventually, right? And so I would think that the biggest thing that really has helped me, because the career has been coming along, right? But it's my perspective that's really been affected, and I think that really that has happened in the last couple of years with the death of my mother and the birth of my child. And I would probably say that that is probably, I'm living in the most pivotal time of my life right now. My values have changed. The way that I view time, the way that I prioritize things, they're all different now than what they were, 5 years ago. And so I would have to say that, I'm 37. I have I have a long career in front of me. I have a long life in front of me, hopefully. And so I think that that's probably a better question to ask me down the line because I think I'm going through that pivotal time in my life as we speak. So like anybody, I've experienced different things, but truly, I've never been as excited about life and about my prospects as I am today.
I love that. That's great to hear. And how does a balanced life look for you?
You know, I don't really believe in balance the way that probably most people do. I don't believe that you go to work at 9 and you're off at 5 and you eat dinner with your family at 6 and you're in bed by 10. Um, I believe in priorities, right? You're going to accomplish the things that are important to you. So make those things important to you. And so for me, balance has really just come from making sure that I have ample time to spend with my wife, ample time to spend with my son, ample time to work on personal projects like my book or like my health. But I don't hold myself to a I don't limit myself to how much time I spend working. If I'm sitting there with like I said, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. If my wife wants to watch a show, there's nothing wrong with pulling out my iPad or my laptop and getting a little bit of work done in the meantime. And so, I just try to be as productive as I can around the clock and then let my priorities kind of lead where my day goes from one day to the next. And so I find that for me at least, not limiting myself one time by putting certain things in certain buckets and saying I'm not going to be available for work after these hours or before these hours, or I can only um, eat at these times. Don't eat late. That's bad, but you know I can only take recreation during these times or in these ways. I've found for me that that's limiting, and it only leads to disappointment because inevitably something will pop up where I'm needed somewhere else, and then the whole schedule will get thrown off. So I like to be organized. I like to have a plan, but I don't necessarily limit myself to just what I think I would like to happen because plans change. That's probably not the answer you're looking for, but it's a
Actually, it is. So I don't believe in balance being a straight line. I
yeah,
believe there's sort of those waves. So balance is some point work needs doing, but the balance is at other points you're spending more time with your wife or with your child.
exactly.
Balance is not a perfect balance. No one is in perfect balance. Well, maybe there is someone, but no one I know. It's that wave. It's finding balance overall.
Exactly. I could have said that better myself, actually. That's pretty much exactly what I'm thinking. We go on a vacation, put the phone down, go enjoy some time with the family. So I'll remember that. I like the way you said that.
And how can people find you?
Well, my name is spelled Dametric. Last name Burnett. So LinkedIn is an easy way to find me. Um, I'm not huge on social media, unfortunately. I just never got into it, but LinkedIn is an easy way to find me. They can also find us through our website, snkbuildingservices.com. We have a contact page, and those come straight to our corporate office. And if it's meant for me, they'll make sure that it gets put in my hands. But I respond to almost all of my messages on LinkedIn, as long as it's not spam. So there's a fair bit of that going around.
Well, thank you for joining today. It's been a pleasure to have a chance to chat through with you your journey.
No, I appreciate it. This has been a privilege. My first time doing a podcast, so I hope it came across okay.
Yeah. Thank you. And thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, and leave a review. Thank you.